Should we light a cigar or maybe pop some champagne? The Warriors have won a play-in game. The Warriors have won a play-in game and will face the Houston Rockets. I'm guessing Sunday. I don't know. Maybe Saturday, right? Man, where do we begin with this one? I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I had a crazy time. I won't burden you with the details. Just even trying to watch this game was a mess. But I've watched most of it. And the first thing that took me back was when the game started, it didn't look like the arena was full. I was like, really? We doing this, Chase Center? Like, we're doing this? And to their credit, they got loud at moments, but I was a little startled to see that at a 7 p.m. start. It's not like an early start or something like that. And Memphis comes out, hits some threes. They're a high-powered offense, all green lights. So when they're hot, they can beat anybody. We know this. But it wasn't till midway through that first quarter, Quentin Post checks in. GP2 checks in. I told you GP2 was going to bounce back. You could tell he wanted to make up for that Clippers performance, and he's backdoor cutting, hits a couple threes. Jimmy makes 2 first-quarter threes. And that opened up everything. Now guys are starting to come out at him. And his first step for, 35, 36 years old, is ridiculous. Like the distance he covers in the bursting and getting to the rim. And really, look, we'll get to the closing moments here. And of course, a breakdown tomorrow where I can just really take a look at the tape because I had all sorts of Wi-Fi and streaming, all sorts of issues with, I don't know. But to me, the biggest factor in the game, even though it came down to the end, but to be in control for most of the game was Jimmy getting to the line didn't allow Memphis to get out in transition and play how they want to play, right? Quentin Post comes in. Is it late first quarter, early second quarter? Quentin's ready for the playoffs. I understand he's not going to be ideal in a lot of matchups or in specific matchups, but it wasn't just him taking and making threes. It was his effort on the glass and his effort on the 50-50 balls. I thought he held up really well against Edey. And Quentin's got it. He's got to play. He's ready. What is he, 24, 25 years old? So it's not shocking. But Quentin was ready to play. Moses, the defense, it was the second side rotations. I think the Spurs and Greg Popovich coined the phrase, help the help. And defensively, the way we were swarming, particularly in that first half, when we got up 20, it was helping the help. We were on a string in the urgency, and defense was leading to offense. And then Jimmy's free throws controlling the pace because it can get so frenetic with the back and forth and coast-to-coast actions, but then Jimmy would slow the game down, and that hurts this Memphis offense. But as you know, NBA, they're going to come climbing back, making tough. Bane was going crazy. You want to talk about a bulldog downhill? His momentum, he gets downhill, impressive that he has a floater too. With that built, you don't think he has a float game in a mid-range game, but he's a 3-level scorer, puts a lot of pressure on you. And we fell asleep on some weak side rotations. The defense, we weren't able to sustain the urgency and energy of that first half defensively, and then throwing it up to Edey, getting Draymond in foul trouble. And, Jaren Jackson hits 4 threes. Their others played well. They climb back into it, and Ja goes down on, the right ankle on Buddy Hield's foot. The first thing that I was super surprised about was they took his shoe off. That's Hooper 101 right there. You don't take the shoe off because then it's going to swell. But the wounded animal that Memphis is, while Ja sits the rest of that third quarter, climb back into it with turnovers and just the typical Warrior type of stuff. And then you see on the sidelines, okay, here comes Ja on a perk. Here comes Ja on a perk. We about to get lit up here. Again, y'all, I'm just tapping in for a quick reaction here. I will have a full breakdown of all the schematics. There's just too much to go over right now. No Kuminga yet again, but you saw Gee. Let's give Gee some flowers because he was crazy out there. He was crazy. I don't know the box score. He had, 3, 4, 5 rebounds, but they were crazy. They weren't rebounds that belonged to him, right? He got rebounds that shouldn't have been his rebounds. And, Edey, as impactful as he is, and he almost had like 20 boards, his hands, suspect, as well as we did a really good job of not letting him get wide when he caught the ball. I thought that that was the key. And again, he was effective, but a lot of the time, a lot of our turnovers were off of Edey and the traps and the help on him, and we sucked up the space. So he had to stand super tall and narrow, and then he would get off balance. And so I thought that that was a good strategy. But down the stretch, here's what's sticking in my mind. It's all fresh on our mind. It's like a one possession game. And Jimmy, I like that they had Jimmy on the ball late. I think that the Warriors recognized too, like this is the way to go, especially with the fouls. But there were several suspect calls. And again, my Wi-Fi was going in and out. I know I say that a lot. I don't know what the deal is, y'all. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. But anyway, I'm getting freezes, stops, and in this dramatic moment, I'm like, I'm dying. But I saw what I missed was the Draymond challenge. And again, I'll have to go back and look at the tape and see what that was about. It looked like a bad call, but all I could see was the Draymond reaction at the end of it. And, Draymond's going to act like that anyway, right? But what sticks out to me specifically was Jimmy on the ball, clutch time, and he curls back and flips it to Steph, and Steph takes a runner, like a drifting left. And I was like, what are you doing? There was time on the clock. I was like, my God, Steph, like this is what we're going to do? Then he gets found in the corner. I think this is right before Draymond fouls out, swings him to the corner. He hits that three. And then he hits the triple reload three, the step through on Scottie Pippen Jr. And you know how difficult it is to be that patient on that stage in that moment of the game to reload that to like a third beat. And when he got to the third beat, I was like, oh, he's in rhythm. It's a problem. So we go up 6 and you're like, all right, we're going to pull this out. We're going to pull this out, right? Like, we're going to pull this out. And then Draymond fucking Green. That was such an egotistical foul. Up 6, 56 seconds on the clock. He tries to jump the inbound to Desmond Bane. You want to talk about hero ball? That was disgusting. That was disgusting, Draymond. And it almost cost us the game. Y'all can say I'm overreacting, but I cannot believe with his experience to make that silly of a play. Bane hits the 2 free throws. Jimmy, one of the only times I've ever seen, got sped up in the paint. He got there so quickly. He got caught in the air, throws it back. Steph falls down. It's a Scottie Pippen breakaway. And Tripods comes flying out of nowhere with the clean block. No. That's a foul. That's a foul. Now I'm starting to like really worry, just like, okay, we're getting hosed here, right? We're getting hosed. Like that was insane. Both teams have used and lost their challenges. So Pippen Jr. to the line in a 4-point game. He only gets one of them. It's a 3-point game. Looney's in there for Draymond because Draymond's took himself out of the game. Not only was it a terrible foul, it fouled him out. And Kerr went to Looney. I don't blame him, with Edey on the floor and just the experience, right? And Moses is in there as well. I think Steph misses a shot. I think it's another one of those tough floaters. There's a loose ball, a scramble. Mo comes up with it, comes down, trying to get the timeout. An absolute phantom call on Kevon Looney. An absolute phantom call on Looney. Like that's like NBA, you got to explain yourselves on that one. That was insane. And I'm like, all right, that's 2 in a 1-possession game in an elimination game on our court. On our court. Can't make it up. So then it's 2 free throws. So now we're inbounding it baseline with 1 timeout, and Steve Kerr stands and watches Steph almost get trapped and turn it over in the corner. Steph had to take the timeout. I know a lot of you are done with Steve Kerr, and right or wrong, I'm not here to have that conversation now. I could not believe he waited that long. He waited for Steph to take that timeout. I cannot believe that. That was insane. So then they get side out of bounds, and you like what they drew up. Steph, he's usually not that good at getting loose, right? As far as, he's always with the hand fighting and the shimmy cuts. It's usually like stutter step type of stuff from Steph. He hit Pippen Jr. with just like a hard juke to get open, right? And they take the foul. I think Pippen Jr.'s out of there. And then the second one, Steph rushes into the backcourt to put it away. I thought he could have looped back into the backcourt because I don't think there was enough time to call an 8-second, and he probably could have bit off more time, but it's a done deal. It's a done deal. And again, I'll have the details, the schematics, the X's and O's. I'm going to talk my shit about CB4 Ja and this Memphis Grizzlies team, but I cannot believe the calls down the stretch on our court. I cannot believe Steve Kerr almost let us turn that ball over. When he got to the sideline there, that was insane. Draymond missing that corner three. Draymond, I cannot believe the Draymond foul. There's so much I can't believe about this game, but ultimately, what we'll remember is we won. We finally won a play-in game against this Memphis Grizzlies team who, they're tough, man. You got to give this Grizzlies team, and their head coach, I guess I'm forgetting the last final thing, right? Because they did have, after the free throws, they did have that side out of bounds it was a 3-point game. I think 5 on the clock, right? 5-second call. Santi Aldama and Kerr, it looked like he was going to sit Steph. He put Steph on the inbounder, and Steph, that you don't see a lot of guys understand that. You saw how Steph was like 6-7 feet off Aldama because he was playing the passing lane, right? And a lot of younger players, they try to get into the body. It depends who you are. If you're 6'10", then you probably want to get into the vision of the passer. But Steph, being smaller, was playing the angle of the pass. And they get a 5-second call. And what I wanted to point out is you just wonder if, what's his name, old beard there that they just let go, Tyler Jenkins, code breaker himself, if they would have had that 5-second call if he was the coach. It's those little things where you have a new coach in that scenario where whatever he drew up, they didn't get free. GP2 was handsy, Steph playing the angles. Game time. Game time. That's all I got for y'all. I don't know if I'm gonna sleep. I got to get my Wi-Fi situated for these playoffs. It's insane. I guess I'm gonna have to switch providers. I know y'all don't care about that. You'll care about this Rockets matchup where I think we all were in agreement, right? You had to if we lost this and went to Friday, pack them up. It's all right. We starting to look at the draft, even though we ain't got draft picks. But now you get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and hopefully even Saturday, 4 days. Jimmy Butler, bro. I still think he was the key. Even though Steph put it away, Jimmy got us there with the free throws. We have 38. And so 4 days of rest for this team. And we head to Houston, and Ime Udoka, careful what you ask for because you might just get it. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.